Welcome to a very special series here on HeadRoom. Travel to the Holy Land of Jordan and to the capital city of Amman. A generous people steeped in shared displacement over generations, forming a lively culture of food, family, respect, and tradition. Journey with me across the world to Amman, Jordan. This is HeadRoom.
All right, we're here, Zaid. It's been an incredible week spending time with not only people that are your family members, but your extended family when it comes to the work that you do, WRS and ITG more globally. And we can talk about the particulars, especially of the World Refugee School. But I want to sort of talk about the ecosystem. And that's a word that I like to use a lot, and maybe too much. But I've noticed that word is embraced here by most of the people that I've talked to and shared conversation with. Talk a little bit about just where you feel that you fit within that ecosystem and how that has changed over time, because I see you as the face of WRS because this has been my first exposure to it, but I know it's a much bigger ecosystem. So talk about the journey to get to where you are now at WRS.
Perfect. First of all, thank you for this opportunity, and it's been great spending time with you over the past few days. I'm pretty sure some of the experiences that we've been through together are memories that will last with us for a long time. So thank you for that. In terms of my journey specifically, it all started when I was about 4 or 5 years old. And I've always seen, my dad, he's always been traveling on work trips, business trips, trying to basically start his business and continue with the growth of the business that we have. At a very young age, I started to realize that this is one of the things that, although I used to miss him a lot when he was away, but to me this started to make sense as something I would like to do and basically support him in the future with his operation and everything that he is involved with from a business point of view. So as I grew older and during my young age, I used to go to the office, spend some time, sit on his lap in some of the meetings that he used to have. At some other point in time, I used to go and basically, just chill in the office and see people walk in, people leave, the employees.
So the rhythm of work.
Exactly. So I started to get a sense of the rhythm and how the flow is going within the work environment that he and his co-founder created. And then, with time, when I reached a certain age, I started my first internship. I worked with the services team, trying to basically get the exposure and get in touch with all the different employees that we have within the group. And to me, that was, eye-opening experience, and it was great because I got the chance to engage with everyone within the organization. The following year, I did another internship as a data entry employee. And this started to teach me the structure within the organization and how to manage my time, how to start and meet deadlines basically, how to interact with some other departments because of the requirements that you have in order to complete a specific project. And then the journey continued. But one of the turning points in my life was basically me moving to King's Academy. Although I went to a very good school in middle school and primary school, but I believe my move to King's Academy was a great milestone in my life. Why do I say that? Because first of all, it was an international school, which means diversity.
Can you give some background on King's Academy for people who don't know?
Of course. King's Academy has a sisterhood with Deerfield Academy from the US. Our King Abdullah basically graduated from Deerfield, and they worked on a deal to basically create this organization in Jordan to make it as one of the most prestigious education institutes in the region. So we had a lot of international students, people came from Asia, from the Middle East, from Africa, from the US as well, on exchange programs. Most of the staff was international. So this started to basically open the horizon in front of me and made me, get exposed to different cultures, different societies at a very small age. And then it made my move to the States afterwards very easy and smooth from an academic point of view, and then from, just the point of me settling in a new country, which was something new. I had traveled a lot when I was young, but nothing is compared to basically settling in a new foreign place that you don't know anything about.
It was for university.
Of course, yes. I went to Northeastern University. I did management information systems and entrepreneurship. The co-op program was also one of the main things that helped me a lot during my career. And if you look at it, I think everything came in the right time, right moment, and it just paved the path for me to basically become ready to join our organization. As much as it's nice for you to join the business at first, but you need that kind of exposure. You need to be able to deal with different kinds of people from different backgrounds. You need to be aware of what's happening. You need to stay up to date with all the trends that are happening in the world around you. And I believe, the last 4 years, or the 4 years of university, have provided me with this opportunity and opened my eyes to many things, especially when it comes to the business and where I see myself within the organization.
Let's talk about the relationship. I think it's unique. It isn't unique. There are plenty of fathers and sons, or mothers and daughters, or fathers and daughters that have sort of worked and shared legacies in building something. And of course you've had that with your father, and I hope that people can hear. Can you share what we're hearing now?
So this is the call for prayers. Actually, today is Friday, and we're about to go to Friday prayer after the interview. So that's the sound you hear in the background.
It's such an experience for those in the West that may not have been able to hear that outside of maybe a movie or a television show. Thank you for sharing this environment and this time in your space.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Zaid, I think it's really compelling, especially in a world of being entrepreneurs, and met your younger brother, and his generation, that's all they're going to really know. No matter what they do, it's going to be this sort of independence of thought and practice. And you have a very, very close relationship with your father, who is incredibly accomplished. Awarded the Order of Independence by the King. I mean, so we'll talk about pressure and those elements, but I wanted you to share. You mentioned to me this week there was I think it was maybe your first day, maybe of internship, where you walked into his office and you said, "Baba." Is that correct?
Yes,
Which
that's
is the term, the Arabic term for dad, right? And share with the listener that experience, because I think regardless of culture and location, many people can relate to this.
Of course. Basically, on my first day at work, I received a phone call from Abu Zaid's office manager. Abu Zaid is my dad. This is what they call him.
Which is Abu, and then the oldest son's name.
Yes,
which
exactly,
would be your name.
Exactly. Abu is father of Zaid, and this is usually how they call men after a certain age, and it is part of the culture and the tradition here, out of respect. So it's like a nickname, basically. So I received a phone call as soon as I got to my office at 8 a.m. in the morning from his office manager. She was like, "Abu Zaid wants to see you. Stop by his office." So, I got ready and I went. You saw the walk between the two buildings. And as soon as I arrived, I called him Baba, which, to me is normal. He's my dad, and this is what I call him. He was like, "Listen, Zaid, today is your first day and you're in the office. Never call me Baba again in the office. My name is Abu Zaid. And that was, it left a huge impact on me. And it made me realize that work is work, I don't have any kind of special treatment just because I'm his son. And this, gives me more responsibility to basically focus more on my work, try to become better, develop what skills I have in order to meet the expectations, first of all, of my dad, and then help in moving the company from one point to another. And obviously many incidents happened along the way that made me realize this and internalize it more. But I think this was a trigger where it made me realize that I'm not kidding anymore. We are out of the context of the house. We are in the office, and this is serious. So it gave me a sense of huge responsibility towards him as a guy, because I've always seen him, how hard he works, how many hours he spent, on building this operation. And we thank God we reached a point today where we're talking about multiple companies. It's not only one, which means the size of operation is growing, and it's continuing to grow. And this just puts me in a position where I need to basically be ready to deal with all the challenges that we might face and help him in basically achieving the vision that he had, in relation or in addition to the vision that I have for myself and for the family and our company in general. So it's a huge responsibility, and I believe everything that I've been through over the past couple of years is basically making me ready for this huge responsibility that lies in front of me.
HeadRoom is produced by Old Soul, a one-stop marketing agency that understands the power of brand and nuance. Reach out to my guy Matt at Old Soul and supercharge your brand and content strategy. That's Old Soul. Shoot Matt a note at aoldsoul.com. That's aoldsoul.com. And now, back to our guest.
How do you find your voice? Because your father is a larger-than-life personality. He is incredibly adept and skilled at engaging people and making them feel like they're the only person in the room, and that's a talent. And he's accomplished a great deal. And some might say that he casts a very large shadow. You have a very unique experience outside of anybody that has collaborated with your father, negotiated with your father. Talk about the balance in finding your voice, the independence, and also honoring what he has built and then provided as a field of play for you to excel.
That's a great question, actually. And I think, it all goes back to the relationship and the effort that he used to put when I was a kid, on developing our relationship, me and him. And to be honest, like today, I look at him, I see him as a friend. He's basically my best friend today. And, since I was young, everything that I wanted to, if I had a problem with something, if I needed advice, I'd always go to him. And that gave me this kind of comfort to express myself and basically be very transparent with him. I never had to lie to him because he was, he gave me that trust where I think in the long term turned out to be the greatest thing we managed to build together and create. Because when you talk about this, it's a very tricky kind of relationship when you, work with your family, especially your father, and at the same time you live in the same house. So one of the things that we agreed on, obviously it doesn't happen all the time, but we try our best to not discuss business outside the office. And I think you saw that yesterday in one of the interactions that we had, where in the office we have some kind of a formal relationship. We have boundaries and specific things that we discuss related to the operation and the work that we have. Outside the office, it's a completely different relationship. And I think this is a very smart thing that we managed to basically work on together because it gives you the freedom to it just puts a limit to the amount of effort that you need to put outside the context of work. And I think this is very important.
So a lot of boys grow up wanting to be like their father, especially when they're very young, right? They look at them maybe as a superhero, or right? But there comes a time when you start to find yourself, and you recognize the similarities maybe in your parent, but you also start to recognize that there are subtle differences in talents that one has outside of their parent. Has that been easy for you to identify? Is it hard to balance both truths, that you can honor and be the very things that you see and cherish in your father, but also recognize that you have some skills that maybe he doesn't have? Tell me about that relationship.
I must admit, there's a lot of pressure, but at the same time, I think we complement each other in one way or another. He has his own strengths and the things that he is really good at, and at the same time, I'm starting to explore and see that I can basically complement some of the things that we need for this business in order for us to take it to the next level. And I think, with time, this is becoming more clear to me, and I'm trying to basically map it with whatever skills he has in order to complement the whole package, and basically start to deliver according to what vision we have for the company and the people within the organization.
How has the journey working alongside your father impacted other areas of your life? You're a married man. Tomorrow is your 1-year anniversary. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I would imagine that it impacts in many ways, or many facets of your life.
It does, big time. And I'm going to go back to the first point that I mentioned, the friendship kind of relationship. One of the main things that I really, cherish and basically appreciate is the sense of responsibility that came out of this kind of relationship. To me, I believe, given my age, but I carry on a lot of responsibilities towards the people around me, my family, and the community in general. And this is one of the things that, I always try to learn more from my dad when it comes to that specific component. And it turns out to be one of the best traits that I'm working on right now. And you can see the impact, having a sense of responsibility towards every individual within your life is something very important, at least in my point of view. And it gives you the credibility, the trust. It works, and this is exactly the term I wanted to use, trust. As we mentioned yesterday in one of the interviews, I believe trust, loyalty, and the sense of family are very important components that you need to have with the people who are close to you. And I think if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have, had this as part of my identity and who I am today. I guess those 3 points are crucial.
Let's close with this. I want to respect in real time for the audience, for you to, for prayer. There's a lot of growth and excitement in what is going on with World Refugee School and other projects as well. And you're a very diversified man professionally. There's a lot going on. What's the most exciting thing about being continuously challenged, especially in the space of refugees, where refugees can't take time off? Refugees don't get to enjoy weekends or vacations in ways that maybe you or I can. So given the sense of responsibility that I know runs through your veins, I would imagine that it's exhilarating to know you're in an environment that can make a difference for people that are waiting for assistance and support. Tell me just about that when you look forward.
Okay, so I think the work that we are doing with the WRS is very important, and to me it is kind of it's very special. It holds a special place in me because of the way that you basically manage to impact someone's life with the work and the solution that you offer. And it turned out to be great because it's a mixture of everything I always thought of doing. You know, there's a tech component to it. At the same time, you are giving back, you are helping people who are in need. And this is, very important to me. Impact is something very essential as well. You know, leaving an impact on someone's life and giving them an opportunity to have hope and basically continue with their education and then afterwards provide for their family is something that, gives you pride. And the way we do it is we're not seeking to basically help a small community of refugees. For us, it is our vision, it is our mission at the World Refugee School, to basically provide a solution that will help solve this problem for the whole world. I know it's huge, it's massive, but we truly believe that the way we are dealing with this issue will definitely be, will provide the impact that is needed, and it will really help, the people in need to basically give them a spark of hope, at the end of the tunnel, just to make sure that they are able to support their families and give back to their communities. They need it.
Well, you use the word impact, and you've made an impact on me. Your family has. The incredible people that I've been able to spend time with at all levels throughout the organization, people sort of locally. You make an impact on people, and I think that if anything, hopefully this time here shines a light on Jordan, which is a beautiful country that many in the West may not know about. That's a conversation for another day, but they should. It's a beautiful land, beautiful people that are striving not only to help their own citizens and the history that is rich, especially in the refugee space, but in the citizens of the world. So I thank you, Zaid, and I look forward to the next conversation, wherever that may be.
Thank you so much. Likewise.
Thanks for taking the plunge into HeadRoom, where we uncover the why behind the what and who impacting our lives. HeadRoom is a production of Rainlight and co-produced by our friends at Old Soul. I'm your host, Dr. Rod Berger, and this is HeadRoom.